All right, listen up. This is an urgent Code Ninja security advisory. We are tracking active exploits against Fortinet's FortiClient EMS. If you're running this software, your perimeter is vulnerable. You need to pay very close attention to what follows. Okay, the threat briefing is now active. We're dealing with two critical zero-click vulnerabilities that need your immediate action. And let me be clear, this isn't a theoretical exercise. These are being used to break into systems in the wild as we speak. So how bad is it? Both of these vulnerabilities are rated 9.1 on the CVSS scale. That's well into the critical range. What that means for you is an attacker needs zero authentication and, importantly, zero user interaction to get a foothold in your network. They don't need anyone to click a link or open a file, they just get in. So what exactly are we up against? Well, we've got two different flavors of attack here. On one hand, you've got an API authentication bypass. On the other, a classic SQL injection. They're two totally separate vectors, but they both have the exact same objective, to completely take over your endpoint management server. And again, we have confirmed both are being actively exploited. Now, you might be asking why we're putting this advisory out so publicly. The objective here is really twofold. First, yeah, it puts pressure on the vendor to get a solid patch out the door. But honestly, the more important reason is to arm you, the defender on the front lines, with the intel you need to take action and mitigate this threat immediately. Okay, we're going to pause for a quick comms check. It's absolutely critical that we establish a secure intelligence channel. This is just part of our standard operational protocol. Here's the protocol. I need you to subscribe to get our continuous feed of real-time threat intel, then enable notifications so you get immediate alerts. Think of it as your early warning system. Next, I need you to acknowledge that you've received this advisory. Just hit like. And finally, report your status in the comments. Are you patched or vulnerable? This is crucial because it helps us and everyone else watching to get a sense of the blast radius of this thing. Good. Comms link established. Let's move into the deep dive. We're going to start by defining the blast radius, figuring out the specific impact and exactly who is in the line of fire. All right, let's break down the specifics here. The first CVE, that API bypass, it hits versions 7.4.5 and 7.4.6. The impact? Direct path to remote code execution and privilege escalation. Now, the second one, the SQL injection, is a little more targeted. It's going after version 7.4.4, but specifically in multi-tenant deployments. The result is just as bad, though. We're talking RCE and complete control over the database. So what's really terrifying here is just how fast this all happened. Let's walk through the timeline, because this is a perfect case study in how quickly a flaw gets weaponized in today's environment. I mean, just look at the velocity here. It took less than 2 weeks to go from a public proof of concept to a full-blown weapon being used in active attacks. The moment that Python exploit script hit GitHub, the game changed. It basically turned this into a point-and-click attack, making it easy for even low-skilled actors to use. This is the reality we're all dealing with. And this little snippet right here, it shows you just how simple the initial attack can be. This one line is a time-based SQL injection. It gets slipped into an HTTP header, and all it does is ask the database to, well, take a 5-second nap. If the server actually pauses for 5 seconds, the attacker gets a silent confirmation that the system is vulnerable. It's the quietest way to check if the door is unlocked before kicking it in. From there, they can move on to stealing data or executing commands. Okay, this brings us to the most critical part of this whole briefing, the patch and mitigation protocol. These are the steps you have to take to secure your systems. This isn't a list of suggestions, it is an operational imperative. Your primary defense is to patch. Step 1, if you are on version 7.4.4, you need to upgrade to 7.4.5 immediately. That's what fixes the SQL injection flaw. Step 2, if you're already on 7.4.5 or 7.4.6, you're not out of the woods. You have to apply the specific out-of-band hotfixes from Fortinet. And step 3 is to audit. You need to go hunt for every single EMS instance in your environment and then dig through the logs. Look for strange API requests or, and this is a big tell, any unexpected processes like cmd.exe or PowerShell.exe firing up. That's a huge indicator of compromise. So what if you can't patch right this second, for whatever reason? You need to execute these mitigation strategies now. Step 1, isolate. Take that EMS admin interface completely off the public internet. If you can't, then you must restrict access to only trusted IPs. Step 2, get a web application firewall, a WAF, and put rules in place to block these specific injection patterns in HTTP headers. And step 3, this is a mindset. assume you're already compromised. You have to treat any internet-facing EMS box as hostile until it's been fully patched and audited. One final point on our protocol. I know some might question why we do a public disclosure like this. Let me be crystal clear about the code we operate by. This is all about coordinated vulnerability disclosure. When a threat is already being actively exploited, staying silent only helps the attackers. This disclosure isn't just an option, it's a necessary action. Defenders need actionable intel to protect their systems. Our entire mission, our entire reason for being, is to empower the defense. That's the code. That concludes this advisory. Implement the protocol. Verify your posture. Stay secure.